Well, right there's the birthday boy. Old Anthony Lowry. He turned 16.
Okay.
That's his girlfriend, Bree. Oh, Anthony. Happy 16th birthday. Poor kid.
Anthony, say hi.
Let's get this racing season started. That's the morning kids race right there. There's 5 of them. And you're going to notice a little trend right now as I read these off. There goes old Timothy Breadlinger on 26. You're going to see Mason Grove on 702. And this is pretty much the order they were in. And I had Holden Breadlinger, 92. Rockland Breadlinger on number 11. And you had Haley Bennett.
Woo! Go, boy!
They were all tearing it up out there, breaking the course in, having a good time, showing off them bikes that they brought along. Tell you what, the course was virgin. Hadn't really gotten anybody out there riding on it. These guys were the first ones to break it in. And they did a heck of a job out there. Old Joe Spade was following along there, playing a little sweeper, helping the guys out whenever they needed a hand. I don't think any of them really needed much of a hand at all. The entire Breadlinger tribe was they're doing good. Listen to this bike. Just listen to this thing. That's Mason Grove. Got a cool, you can hear that thing out through the woods there going. It was pretty neat. Alright, here we go. This is a little bit of the vintage action. First race of 3 in the new 3-race format in the Mid-Atlantic. That's Craig Lowry out there on his 1975 Yamaha MX100. He was in the vintage 100 intermediate class. He got the whole shot off his line. Never looked back. Closest guy was second place, and he had about a minute on him, I guess, or so. He said the bike ran good. I'll try to include the times where if you just want to fast forward to watch whatever race you want to watch, because we got the vintage, we got the post vintage, and we got the dual disc class. There was 3 races that the Mid-Atlantic's going to hold without any like sight lap. I'm in favor of the new sight lap. I like that idea. There's a lot of guys that were getting stuck, and it just makes everything go a little bit smoother, in my opinion. And we're having 3 races. They said we ended up about the same time as what you would for 2, and yeah, I like the new format. It worked out real well. Hopefully everybody else liked it. And this first race is kind of deceiving. If you're gauging on the mud that we had, this, as you can tell, it's not broke in yet. This ground is absolutely saturated. I slept in my trailer last night, and I think it started raining around 11 or midnight, and it felt like it rained non-stop. It was still raining at 7, 8 o'clock, sprinkling around. It kind of quit. But by then, this ground had already soaked up as much as it could possibly soak up, so there's a lot of standing water. You know, the saving grace this track has is the terrain. It's real steep, so it runs off kind of quick, and it's kind of sandy with a little bit of clay mixed in with some dirt in different places, and so it drains off pretty well. In the low spots, you're going to have your soupy mud and stuff, of course, but you'll see. It's kind of neat to watch how the track progressively gets worse, and then by the 3rd race, it gets better. Craig is on a mission right now. I always tell him he looks like a Shriner with this bike. like to give him a jab every once in a while. That's what buddies do. We were a little bit concerned about this little hill climb right here because they had it going just on the other side of this little ravine originally, and it got rutted out so bad they changed the course and made it come up where we went down through last year, which I think was a good move. There's a nice little crossover there anyhow. Craig got some good footage out here for the vintage race, kind of gives you a taste of how the track was. This first lap of this vintage race doesn't look too bad at all. A little bit of this off-camera stuff up here, it got to be, you could buzz rate for off-camera stuff, it wasn't too bad at all. Craig, he was throwing down some 22, low 22s and mid 21 minute laps out there on that 100, which heck, that wasn't bad at all. He stepped it up though. The post finish, we were both throwing down 16 minute laps, but he's on 250 and I'm on 200, so more modern bike, faster times. You're gonna have that. Boy, Craig does not like this spot right here in the post-finish race. He has some sort of electrical issue right there, and bike shut down on him. Ended up costing him the race. An electrical issue with this little MX100. Wasn't sure if it was fuel or electrical. You know, you're chasing your tail on these suckers. And they worked on the jetting down at White Lightning and made it somewhat better. But every once in a while, it just cut out. Once it got up on the pipe, it seemed to be better. And they worked and worked and worked on this thing. Finally found some moisture in where the points were at and worked on that a little bit. I think he finally decided to convert it over to electronic ignition, and ever since he did that, it's been a night and day kind of thing, and it's been running a heck of a lot better. Boy, some of these spots down through here, when you see it in the third race and you're looking around, you can really see the bark was just banged off some of these trees at about bar height. Guy's pushing the envelope a little bit there. Tell you what, these tight sections like this, them little 100s that sit low to the ground like this, snake through there a lot easier than what some of the bigger bikes will, for sure. What Craig say he likes about this, you get into tight technical stuff like that, you just throw the bike around a lot easier. Kind of playing follow the leader on this train of vintage bikes up here right now, though, that's for sure. Now some of these other trails start to break out, snake out a little bit there. This section right in here through here, there's just trails going everywhere there for a little bit, in and around some of the trees, guys trying to get around other guys. They're going to be heading down to this fire road, letting it rip up through there. Craig would lose a little bit of ground going up this fire road, you know. He's 6'2" on his little 100. If I didn't tell you that was a 100, you might not realize it, because I mean, he really doesn't lose a lot of ground. He actually passes a couple guys here and keeps his momentum up. I think the whole key is just keeping that thing up on the pipe. Take special note to this section right here. It doesn't look too awful bad. Guys are trying to find drier spots in the leaves like Craig did there. It don't take long and this whole area just turns to crap. Right there, Craig bumps the camera. That's how the rest of the race looked on the camera, looking straight down at this tank, and it just got worse, so we switched over. This is the post vintage. It's like a sea of IT Yamahas. Good turnout. 150 some riders. I was in the 50 plus, 60 plus line. I think we were in line 5 or 6. I started her in neutral. I wasn't real sure about starting it in gear. Everybody got a jump on me, which was just fine. I wasn't used to this bike. It's a bike that was on loan for me from Mike Ruggieri, which I much appreciated him letting me try this thing out. It's a 400 shoved inside of a 125 frame, and it shits and gets. I had a blast on this thing. Biggest thing with me though was the track had deteriorated after that first race and it got really greasy. I'm just not used to the extra weight that this thing had. I think most of it was just track conditions, because they were the track got really bad in the second race in my opinion. And if I tried to squeeze the tank and stand up and stuff like that, the bike itself had a little bit of top heaviness to it. I just couldn't get the traction I needed to feel comfortable. I mean, I got a decent start, but I do pull some bonehead moves. I don't get the clutch in fast enough. You'll see. You'll see. Stalled out a few times throughout. Got myself tired. I'm really not going for anything. I mean, I want to do this second race. I bought an IT 490 to go race it later on once I get it done. But primarily I want to race the third race and go after the points. See if we can do better than last year. I ended up in second place last year. They bumped Blade Schmidt up after winning the championship. So I'm kind of hoping there's some guys that come out and run that class and give us some good races and hopefully have a better result this year for myself overall. Yeah, you can't tell it, but I'm on ice skates. I should have took that little section, which I didn't know that little short section there opened up. After that, I started taking that little shortcut there. It definitely made a nice difference. There was not much room to get by here. I didn't get downshifted fast enough. You'll fire one out. You can't tell it right here, but it was such an awkward position. It was a steep hill, and I could not get balanced on the bike to get a good kick on it. So I had to drag that over so I could at least lean on my left foot a little bit easier. Jammer neutral and fire back up. That whole next line's going by. I get her fired up. Try not to lose too much ground here. Yeah, they're still throwing giant clods of mud. Mike told me before I went out, he goes, don't forget that thing ain't no 4 or 5 speed. It's a 6 speed. He added the gear to the gearbox. I don't think I ever even come close to 6 gear in this thing. But I will say one thing, man, he's got the suspension in this thing sweet. It squats down and that front end just soaks up every little thing. It's really nice. He said it didn't do a whole lot to it. I find it hard to believe, but I take the man on his word. Look right here, this mud hole got to be bad. Next race you'll see right here, I passed Craig. I didn't get it on film because the dang camera card got full. His bike shut down right there, and then he lost several minutes. Lost first place out of the deal. And right here, there was all these little berms that were kind of up on the turns and stuff like that, and it just felt like my bike, if I went into these too fast, it would just push that little bit of a berm out. My front tire would slide out over it, and I was getting really tired really quick with this bike from the extra weight and fighting it in the mud and trying to keep it up. All the little things that go with riding more horsepower and more weight. Good though. It was the rider that was the problem. I gotta hit the gym. Gotta get back on my road bike, get riding some more. Gotta get in better shape. I laxed off for 2 weeks, but man, you get off your workout routine for a couple of weeks, I feel like you're starting over again at my age. I think he was playing sweeper out there after he got done running the vintage race. Do you notice any difference here? Remember when we came through, how it didn't look all that bad after the vintage race? This is the first lap of the post-vintage race, and it's already going to hell. I noticed that there was a couple trails that were up in them leaves that they get broke open here a little bit later on because this got so soupy in through here. You could get a lot more speed up in there. I got stuck. Get himself back together. Almost like they're having a little Elks Lodge meeting or something right there. This little off camber, I didn't really do anything special there at all, but everybody goes by. It just kind of slid off the trail a little off camber there and had to lean up against a tree, hold the throttle open, give her a kick or two, and she fires up. 2 laps. After the second lap, I was getting the white flag, and I was in like 7th place, and I knew I wanted to save my energy for the 3rd race. That's the race I wanted to go for the points in, and I was exhausted. 7th place wasn't going to get me anything. I snuck down over this little hill right here. This mud hole gets to be deep later on. I mean deep. I try to blaze a new trail through here, and it actually sticks. A lot of people take this trail to try to get up out of this. This stays wet down through here, but I never really got stuck or had any problems going down through this creek bottom. It just looks worse than what it really was, I think. One of them type of deals. I enjoyed this hill climb. I always took it to the left. There was a little bit of a root ball up here about mid-track right in there. But if you had your momentum kick going up through here, no problem at all. That 400, I'm telling you what, I think it was about 2nd or 3rd gear there, just kind of creeping up through there, sneak around these high rocks and roots right there, and make easy work of that mess. This is coming back down around the finish line. I thought I'd show you the last bonehead move. Front end washes out on me here. This is after the 1st lap. Everybody's watching. Mike told me, he said, if you're going to screw up, you might as well screw up with a crowd. So I do. You'll see. That stupid front end just washes out. Throttle sticks. Give her a kick. Hell, why not try for a 2nd lap? Hey, I just did 1 more lap and that was about it. Mud started to splatter. Sounds like a good time to go into the 3rd race. That's Anthony Lowry, Craig Lowry, and a whole host of other riders up on my line here. This is the 200 and the 200 open class, and that's the rocket ship. Craig Lowry out in front of me with that hole shot. He blows me away. There's old Joe Wagaman. He beat me to the punch right behind him. I ended up in 3rd place going up over this hill climb. He's throwing mud on me left and right. I had roll-offs on, and thank God I did, because I used a pile-up. I didn't have time to reach up and grab my camera, or I would have. So we're going to shift it over to Craig's camera, which is nice and clean because he's in 1st place. And that's what it looks like to get the whole shot. I don't know how he does it. It's split-second timing. He's got it down, that's for sure. He just put a 11-ounce flywheel weight on that baby and up the front tooth and the front sprocket there a little bit. And he had 1st place locked up. Him and I in the first 3 laps we just had a heck of a race. It was a lot of fun. Back and forth a little bit. Him mostly out front. Me, I got to pass him a couple of times, and he got back by me. I think I saw old Becky Streckengoss there taking pictures. Yeah, that was Becky. Hey, Becky. As you can tell, the track's kind of coming back around, getting some of that water beat back down into it. It drained off a good bit, and I actually was getting some good traction. I ran like 5 pounds of air in the front and rear. And I had no problem with traction in this 3rd race. And Craig was running some a little bit more in pressure on his tires, but not that much more. And like I said, him and I were 1-1 out through here. He was 1st in his class, I was 1st in my class, and then I go by him, and right after I go by him, he breaks down. He had an electrical issue. It got some moisture in somewhere, and one of the big mud holes. Couldn't get the bike restarted. Joe went by him, and Joe took the first place away from him, and then Craig ended up in second place after he got the bike restarted and got going again. I'll bump the camera back over to me because he didn't get much footage. His camera card got full. I got a little bit muddier lens on me, but boy, right about here, I passed Craig. I didn't get it on video, but he passes me back then going up over this hill. I overshot the turn going into that hill climb a little bit, and he took full advantage of it. And him and I were just tooth and nail around here. It was a lot of fun. As you can tell, the course is starting to come back in, looking good. I felt good out here. I did 4 laps. I run 16-minute laps, and felt good today. The last lap, I got exceptionally tired for some reason. I just didn't have anything left in the tank. There's Craig out in front of me there. A little carrot on the stick, I'm sure it helped my lap times. Love trying to catch up to him. Wait till you see this up here. Wait to see. This is mass destruction at its best. Third race. Nothing left of this course right here in this section. The water was just running down through there like a creek. Guys were doing anything they could to find a dry spot to get some traction. Kind of neat showing the 3-race series. I'm not going to do this all year. I just wanted to show you a full day of racing is what you're going to get here at Mid-Atlantic. Starting out with the vintage, post-vintage, and now the dual disc bikes. This is the kind of day you can expect to have out here. You're going to have a good time. Just pick whatever bike you got in the garage and come on out. Oh, I think I see Brian Ashcraft up there somewhere. Watch this. If I remember right, Craig catches him at the perfect time. Nice little wide spot there. And I'm like, oh man. Why couldn't that happen to me? I'm sitting there remembering there's a little hill climb coming up, and I'm thinking if I can set Brian up here right, I can bust by on the left side of him. I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't happen. But right here, I didn't get down close enough. I should have got down real close and busted up this left side. But you know what? He didn't slow me down, and as you can tell, it ain't like Craig's just stepping away from me, because I think Brian stepped it up a little bit. Because Craig never really gets way ahead of him or anything like that. Brian was really good in this tight stuff, and he made short work of it. And I was able to catch back up to Craig. It all worked out in the end for sure. And then we get out of this tight stuff. You'll see Brian. He pulls over. He knows I'm behind him, and he lets me by. I catch right back up to Craig. No harm, no foul.
Come on, Brian!
I'm starting to get a little impatient. There ain't nowhere for him to go. I think it was just more frustration than anything out of me. And Craig's not even in my class. As soon as he gets a second, he pulls over. Gonna ask for a nicer dude. Back down over this section here. Yeah, this is that section that would make your butt pucker up a little bit. I can see Craig though. He's down there. He's just kind of sliding into the slot at the bottom down there. I had a couple of guys. They were, come on, come on, because I was probably not going down over the hill fast enough for him, and I just didn't have it in me to like go flying down over there. I was afraid if I didn't catch that berm, I'd maybe get stuck in some deeper mud, and I didn't really want that. But nobody made any passes, and I never heard them after that. They just were back there whining around a little bit. It all worked out in the end. Man, this is early on in the race, and I'm telling you, I was feeling it. I had Craig out in front of me there, and just full blast up over here. I kept the camera rolling for the back half of the course over here because I didn't get it in the first two races. I wanted you guys to see what the back half of the course looked like, and it was a lot more open. I really enjoyed this back half of the course. A little bit of switchback and back across some of these rolling hills, and it was nice. You could really bump it up a gear and get it cranking. Mud was still draining off there. Man, why didn't I wipe that camera lens off? Well, I was going to start my season out right. I ended up winning the 200 class. That felt pretty good. Got myself one of them Mike Regary photo op plaques signed by him. It was nice. Tried like heck to get one of the ones that he had last year. Never could get it. So it felt good to take home a little bit of a nice first place trophy to start out the season, and I got Anthony hot on my tail, got second place in this class. Slowly reeling him in. He'd mess up a little bit here and there, and I'd feel my oats and crank on a little bit harder. And I do catch him real good in the second and third lap. Him and I were right tight up against each other cruising around here. It made it a lot of fun. I don't care who it is, if it's Craig or if it's somebody else. If you got somebody about the same speed as yourself, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. That's when this sport gets to be fun. I don't care if you're on the motocross track or on the cross country. So much better when you got somebody right there with you. How about it? We blazed a new trail in up here on top of this hill. If you watch, my bike comes to a complete stop. My left shoulder takes one heck of a shot. After that, I slow down a little bit. Right there. Hit them roots. Oh, I can still feel that today. God, that hurt. Thank God for shoulder pads. I got a bruise about 3 inches round on my left shoulder from that tree. I got some other ones too. I tell you, I took some shots on some of these trees. Most of it because I was getting tired. this was, if I had to break this course down into sections I liked and didn't like, this section from here all the way down to the clear cut, did not like it. Did not like it at all, mostly because of how the course progressed. There got to be a real deep rut down through this downhill section. It wasn't real steep, but it was kind of windy. There's that rut. And you'll just like stay in that rut the whole way, and then you'll see where people just like drug their feet on both sides going down through here. And you couldn't really escape it. If you're staying on course, it was hard to get away from dropping down in that rut and then just fall on it for a couple hundred yards down through there. And it just didn't feel right. I just was a little bit above an idle, just like putting down through there. You couldn't make any ground up, in my opinion. Maybe some of the better riders were better at keeping herself in a rut, but I'm constantly trying to fight myself up out of there. It's just a bad habit I got. I didn't care for that section. This clear cut coming up here, you were to break out to the left up here and come out into it. It wasn't bad. I never really could get much speed though. It was open enough, but for whatever reason I'd catch traction at the wrong time, and I was worried about catching a stump, and there was a couple deep holes from logging and stuff like that. But hey, overall it was a good day. I made 4 laps, and my wife, who has no idea who Clark Kent is, tried to give me an interview. That's what she's trying to say after the race, and I was pretty pumped up. This is just after the first lap. She gets with me after the 4th lap, you'll see. If y'all enjoyed the video, click subscribe.
Clark's wife, ready to, I probably butchered his name, interview you here. Are you pretty tired?
I'm exhausted. I can barely see. I just got one thing to say. Where's Lowry at?
He went down.
Oh man, that was a great race against him though.
Yeah, his bike wouldn't start.
Oh man. Him and I put on a good battle for 3 or 4 laps.
I'm telling you, we all know.
I know. Alright, I'm heading down the trail.
Alright, this is Clark's wife, Kent Clark, whatever his name is, wife, reporting, over and out.
See you in 2 weeks.